My girlfriend is a picky eater, so I stopped cooking for
Depends on how picky.
Dino chicken nuggets
Yeah, she like,
exclusively
I
only.
hate everything that you cook. And you're like just trying to help. You have to see.
Maybe you're a bad cook, OP. Let's find out. This has nothing to do with my relationship in general, as it is great, but about eating habits. So I'm more or less a hobby cook, and I'm originally from Europe. As a result, I cook a lot of food from my home countries. Mom is Greek, dad is Austrian, and I try new stuff quite often. As an example, I worked at a Korean restaurant in the past, and the owner taught me recipes, and I frequent cooking sites and own a crap ton of cookbooks. As a result, I like to try a lot of different foods and try a lot of different tastes: spicy, sweet, sour, etc. And by the way, this comes from user Throwaway Eatery. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. My girlfriend, on the other hand, only really eats local food or fast food, which is fine by me. The issue is she wants/likes me to cook her food, which I did for a good while. But she basically likes nothing and tries nothing new, which results in me having to cook bland stuff and trying nothing new unless I cook myself different food on top of cooking her food, which is not an option because I work full time.
This is a red flag for me.
Now, I also got a bunch of new friends, and I have taken up inviting them over to cook twice a month or so I can try my hand at new stuff, and having them enjoy my cooking makes me happy. Well, of course, my girlfriend is generally there too, and where everyone likes it most of the time, she pretty much takes half a bite and orders takeout later in the evening. So I stopped cooking for her. Now, I just make my own food and let her make whatever she wants, which is pissing her off. She can't cook, so she complains about having to get takeout or getting tired of just eating mac and cheese, whereas previously I would cook full meals for both of us. Now, I tried to meet her in the middle and make extra of what I am having, but she rarely eats it unless it's something like a burger. I made a spicy stir fry yesterday and she wouldn't even try it, leaving me with a heap of leftovers. Luckily, my neighbors like my cooking. The thing is, I am done meeting her in the middle, and I don't get why she's mad about it anyways, since she won't eat what I cook unless it's tailored to her tastes. But she is adamant about being angry and says that I should make stuff we both enjoy. Now, I would be fine with that if it was not for the fact she's the pickiest eater ever. So am I just being a little D-bag here? There's some comments here that are relevant. Enter the bugbear, says, not the a-hole. I don't want to be the red flag guy, but food and your relationship to it is a relatively important part of a relationship. It seems like you have fundamentally different attitudes as to your diets. That's fine in and of itself, but her entitlement is super crappy. You've decided to compromise and she hasn't. She can eat what you make something herself, buy food for herself, etc., but chaining you to a world of chicken nuggets and plain hamburgers is not a reasonable option. Fellow foodie here. OP responds, that's what I'm saying. I am not the type to complain about eating takeout every so often or making fried chicken and burgers or something of like, I mean, I enjoy it sometimes. I do. But she has such a specific bracket of stuff that she likes that it is impossible for me to make anything if I take her tastes into account. Like, I made her a burger with blue cheese in the meat once. She thought it was disgusting, so I can't even experiment with the stuff that she does like.
Not a huge blue cheese.
I was going to say, blue cheese is a very big jump.
That's a big jump for someone who only likes chicken nuggets.
If you did like cheddar or like a Mott's or something like that's like a simple cheese, I think that's a little bit easier. But
I think maybe with this girl, you got to work your way up to the hardest.
This is baby steps here.
It was a confident leap that you made, and I'm here for it, OP.
I know you are.
Shout
I'm
out
also
my
here
fellow
for it.
No, I mean,
blue
if you're
cheese enthusiast.
if you love blue cheese, I'm sure it's great to get exploratory. But with this girl, like, she could not handle that.
A little bit of mold on my cheese, please.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Enter the bug then replies to OP, dear God, run screaming. Which is sarcastic. But seriously though, I am a bit of a hobby cook myself, and that level of restriction would drive me up a wall. I rarely make the same meal twice because I love to experiment with the ingredients. To have her completely turn up her nose at something as moderate and delicious as a blue cheeseburger would drive me nuts. That's definitely not to say that I'm opposed to more mundane but still delicious meals. I like burgers, I like mac and cheese, I like chicken nuggets a lot, but they are for sure convenience foods. Based on my own experience, I wonder if your girlfriend understands that cooking is a hobby as well as a means of sustenance for you. OP says, that is exactly the issue for me. I can't do with the restrictions. Like, even if I were to again meet in the middle and agree to alternate days where I cook for her taste and the next day cook for me, I would still end up eating within the same bracket 15 out of 30 days. And if I could do small add-ons at the very least to have a bit of experimentation, it would be one thing, but even that is rarely within the realm of possibility. Now, I don't know what to think. It sounds like both of these people are being way too difficult.
Yeah, I just think that if they want this to work out, they need to have a conversation where OP says, hey, I really like making new things. This is a hobby for me that I care about.
Yeah.
And I am not going to make you a fully separate meal. I don't have time for that. You might not like what I make, but I don't like what you want. And then just kind of work out a compromise where maybe it's like, okay, one day a week, we try and make a new meal and see, like, introduce you to things to see if there is anything that you like, but we're like working up to it.
I feel like it needs to be like, hey, babe, like, why do you not like these foods? Or, what can I do to spicing up your palate? Branch it out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to the whole fast food stuff either, but it seems like something you eat a few times a year, not something you eat at the very least once a week. I mean, back in Europe, I would eat fast food perhaps once a year. She does understand, and I mean, I am pretty clear about enjoying cooking, and I am pretty clear about it being a hobby. Egghead1995 says, not the a-hole, what are you supposed to do? Only eat food you don't like? If she wants home-cooked meals and doesn't like what you want to make, she needs to cook for herself. Maybe every once in a while, cook something you both enjoy, but it shouldn't be every night. OP continues, well, it's not even that I dislike a burger, because I don't. There's plenty of interesting stuff you can do with a burger. The issue is that there's one rigid way she likes a burger, and once I experiment, she makes weird faces and dislikes it, whereas I try new stuff a lot and dislike eating the same stuff twice in a week, more or less. Deleted says, this is incredibly rude on top of her being ridiculously picky. If someone makes you a meal, the least you can do is be gracious about it. If you genuinely don't like it, you don't have to eat it, but making faces, how disrespectful and childish. Was she spoiled by her parents? I kind of doubt she is literally incapable of enjoying anything but the most basic kids menu food. I dated a super picky eater, and he was that way because his mom pandered to his pickiness his whole life to the point that he wouldn't even try anything new. OP says, yeah, that probably was a part of why this is all sort of rubbing me the wrong way. I mean, it is one thing to dislike what I make, it's another to act childish and rude about it. She wasn't spoiled, doubt, but she did grow up basically eating fast food and the basic mashed potatoes, canned veggies, and meat type diet, which is weird considering her mom is Latin American. And there is an update. So before we get in the update, do you have any other thoughts you would like to?
Not any more thoughts at the moment. Just the same thoughts. The conversation is needed.
The thing that keeps bugging me is that he keeps repeating how he's like, I don't even mind burgers. It's just she likes one really plain. That's the easiest thing to make.
Yeah.
So I don't understand where your issue is. If you're like, I just don't even have time. I don't get it. Now, I feel like this is more of an issue that OP is sort of is liking his girlfriend less because of how picky she is.
I think so. In that update, he didn't really talk a lot about the fact that he was annoyed that she was asking him to do this. It was more like,
yeah, it's more like she can't eat blue cheese.
Yeah, it was like the blue cheese in it. Yeah, which is
cringe to me. Being a food elitist, I'm sorry, that's cringe. Quite a bit has happened in the meantime, so let's just jump right into it. So roughly a week after the post, me and my girlfriend had a rather large argument, mostly due to how she was behaving towards me, which as some pointed out was rather disrespectful. The argument was triggered after one of my dinner parties where she behaved in the way I described, where she tasted like one element of the dish, put it away, and did not eat anymore. Now, as you may imagine, I was feeling embarrassed in front of my friends, but this time Cleo, the wife of a friend I usually invite, spoke up and told her she was acting extremely rude, which then resulted in some of my other friends saying the same. And, well, the party was ruined. My girlfriend got mad, and in the late evening, this argument happened. I was pretty nasty to her, and she was pretty nasty to me, and we barely spoke for 3 days. But after she spoke to her mom, who agreed that she was behaving badly, she decided to apologize, and we made some deals concerning cooking. 1, she would start cooking with me. 2, she would try new things. And 3, she would no longer act rudely. If she did not want something, she would not join a dinner party instead of acting snobbishly and not eating anyways. 4, she would eat healthier, since I also told her diet was gonna, her at some point. In the last 5 or so weeks, there have been large changes. She has opened up to eating a lot more stuff, slowly but steadily. She has realized there's a lot more that is nice to eat beyond bland stuff, and cooking together has been fun. She is really, really horrible at cooking, but we'll get there.
But the fact that she's trying is great.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
the point. It's like, okay, you don't have to be great off the bat. It's just like you need to start learning. It's a skill. Gotta develop it.
It took mom being like, hey, where are your manners? For her to be like, oh, I am being rude.
Yeah. Also, I think she should apologize to all those people at the party if she hasn't already. Yeah.
To
if they're
all the people at the party?
all of them were like, you're being really freaking rude. I'd be like, if these were friends, I'd be like, You should go apologize.
That's interesting to me.
You know what you should do? Cook for them.
It's probably not going to be very good if she's not very good
It's
at
an
cooking.
apology meal.
It's just like, hello, sorry.
Simple pasta. Simple spaghetti.
Yeah.
OP continues, hopefully sooner or later, this problem we've been having will go away. Anyways, thanks for the judgment and advice, everyone. Also, exchanging recipes was rather fun. The corn recipe someone sent me was especially nice. And by the way, it would be especially nice for you if you listen to full episodes with stories like this, wherever you get podcasts, be it Spotify or Apple Podcasts or literally any other podcast platform under the sun. Just search OK Storytime, and there you are. Since someone asked about a previous recipe, this is a comment where I explained it. I'm not sure what you are looking for in terms of recipes, but I can toss you a simple one, which I really like. Grilled feta. My mom used to make it when I was young, and it's really, really easy to make. Basically, you buy feta. Note that this means feta, not white cheese, as they will often try to fool you into thinking that garbage is feta. Some eggs, a proper baguette, breading, rocket, a lemon, basil, cherry tomatoes, as well as some dried herb mix.
But
You
with
just
feta?
split the yolks from the egg whites, whisk the yolks, cut up the feta into lines, dunk the feta in the egg yolks, then dunk it into the breading and make sure it's fully covered. And then you put a whole bunch of olive oil in a pan and you put the feta in. You make sure there's a lot of oil in it, makes it easier to grill both sides properly. Then you just slice up your baguette, you put some olive oil and herb mix on it and put it on the sides and slightly toast it. And then you smear the feta on the baguette and add some tomatoes, basil and rocket, squeeze a bit of lemon juice on it, and bam, you got a tasty starter that barely takes any time and only an would dislike. You can pretty much do the same with halloumi, but you don't have to bread it. Okay. And that's the end of that story.